Hi, welcome back to My Mom Life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today we are making Crescent Pecan Rings. So to get started, you're going to need 2 rolls of Crescent Roll Dough. I have some brown sugar, some half and half. You could use any other milk. I just used half and half. I have some pecans, some vanilla extract, salt, and cinnamon. The first thing that I did was chop up my pecans. These were chopped already, but I wanted them a lot smaller. So I went ahead and chopped 1.5 cups of pecans. These Crescent pecan rings are so good. And then I made a maple glaze drizzle to go on top. I was so impressed with myself, and if you serve these to somebody, they will be very impressed, and they would not ever guess that you used canned crescent roll dough. I promise. They're so good. So I'm going to chop these pecans up, and then we are going to get the rest of our filling made. This is really easy to do. You're going to pop the chopped pecans in a saucepan, and then we're just going to add all of the other ingredients in there with it, and just cook it on the stove for just a couple of minutes just to get that sugar dissolved, and it kind of coats the pecans in the yummy sugary goodness. And then we will prepare the crescent roll dough and finish these up in the oven. They're so easy to do. So I'm going to get the pecans in the saucepan. Then I'm going to add in the brown sugar. I will have directions, ingredients, measurements, everything for you down in the description box. I did 3 tablespoons of brown sugar and then a splash of vanilla extract. You can measure that if you want, probably about half a teaspoon. Then I did a teaspoon of cinnamon. And a good pinch of salt. And then a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of half and half. I gave that a good mix and then popped that on the stove, like I said, for just a couple of minutes to get that sugar dissolved and all of the flavors melding together. You definitely want to watch this. You don't want to step away because this can burn really quickly. Just keep stirring it, and like I said, it just takes a couple of minutes to dissolve that sugar and get the pecans nice and coated. It kind of makes like a sauce around the pecans. It's not a loose sauce at all, but yeah, it's really tasty. So I'm going to get that all dissolved and ready to go, and then I will set that aside and let it cool a little bit. Now we're going to prepare the crescent roll dough. So I sprayed my clean countertop with some cooking spray. You could do flour, but I find that the flour kind of messes with the texture of the croissant. So I like to use cooking spray like this. And then I will unroll the crescent rolls, and you're going to pinch those seams together to make one long rectangle. You can buy crescent dough already like this that isn't cut into triangles if you want to do that. I like to buy the off-brand to save money. But if you buy Pillsbury, you can definitely find that crescent roll sheet. So I moved the first one out of the way, and I went ahead and did the same thing with our other tube of crescent roll dough. Once you get those seams together on the second one, you're going to go ahead and place that filling on the rectangle that you made on whichever one that you have still laying out. I moved the other one to the side. If you fold it up gently, you can just set it to the side, and then that's going to be our top layer. We're kind of making a sandwich here with the crescent roll dough. So I'm going to press those pecans down on the bottom half here, and you want to go from edge to edge because we are going to cut strips. So you want each strip to have all the pecans that it can in it. So you're going to go from edge to edge and just kind of use the back of your spoon or spatula to press those pecans down. I find that it helps them adhere to the dough and not fall out so much when you are assembling your rings. Once you have the filling on there, you're going to take your other rectangle of dough and you're going to place it on top. As you can see, mine kind of fell apart a little bit, but it's totally fine. You can just put it back together. The good thing with this is it's pretty easy to work with. And I went ahead and pressed down pretty good to make sure that that filling was adhering to both the top and the bottom layer of dough. I went ahead and went around the sides just to kind of square off any edges. And then I took a knife and I cut strips about 1 inch wide. Now that I have all of my strips cut, I got 10 strips out of this, out of 2 cans of crescent rolls. So you'll get 10 rings here. You're just gonna kind of be gentle and twist them together and form it into a ring like this. The next one you can kind of see better. My hand's not quite so much in the way. You're just gonna twist it a little, and if it wants to fall apart like that, just pinch it back together. It's totally fine, it'll work out. And you're just gonna form it into a circle. I went ahead and put these on a lined cookie sheet. You could line them with parchment paper, or just your regular cookie sheet is totally fine. I have these silicone mats that I use. You're just gonna give them a little bit of space because they are crescent rolls, so they will spread just a little bit. And my oven is preheating to 375 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and form the rest of these crescent roll rings. And then we are going to make an egg wash and brush the tops of these with the egg wash. So here they are before we bake them, and before I did the egg wash, I was just trying to show you how I twisted them a little bit. And for the egg wash, I just did 1 egg and a splash of half and half. You could do a splash of milk. It just kind of helps thin out that egg a little bit. I just had the half and half out already, so that's why I used that. You're just going to brush the tops of these with the egg wash, and then we are going to bake them for 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees, and then we will make the maple drizzle that goes on top. So for the maple glaze or the maple drizzle, whatever you want to call it, I did a 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. And then I started with just a couple of teaspoons of maple syrup. I ended up using probably 2 tablespoons in the end. Maple syrup is thicker and stickier, so it didn't quite thin out the powdered sugar as much as like milk would. So I just kept adding it until I got to the consistency that I was looking for. And I'll show you that here in just a second. So this was the consistency that I was wanting. It just kind of drizzles nicely. It's not super thick. I went ahead and put that in a Ziploc bag so that I could pipe it on there nice and neat, but that you definitely don't have to do that. I did that so that I can have good pictures for this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle it on top of these pecan rings, and then they are all done. Here's the finished product. I think they turned out absolutely amazing. They weren't overly sweet, which is one thing that I liked about them. I think that this was super good with a cup of coffee. It's a little bit different of a twist on like your regular Danish, and I hope that you try them. If you do, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye guys!